In this quick hit, we're running down the list of the 2022 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees. Stay with us.
You're listening to a 3324 podcast quick hit with Dean Legiro, where Dean shares stories and trivia about his favorite chart hits, actors, movies, and more.
Welcome, friends, to this week's 3324 podcast quick hit. My name is Dean Legiro. Thank you for taking time out of your day to join us as I roll through all the little trivia tidbits and factoids that are running around in my brain. You can also join us on social media if you would. That'd be great. On Instagram and Facebook, you can find us at 3324 Podcast. We also do live shows every other week, so you really have a chance to interact with us, and we do fun trivia there. We give away prizes, so why not stop by there one evening? We'd love to see you. So we're talking about the 2022 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees. Finally, the nominees have been posted. The votes have been counted, and we have our list of inductees. And this year, it's broken up. There are four different types of awards that are given out. Before we get to that, just a little quick trivia, a little bit of a history about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It was established in 1983 by Atlantic Records co-founder and president Ahmet Ertegun. Cleveland, Ohio was eventually chosen to be the permanent home for the museum after they had put that out with different locations to potentially break ground, but ground was eventually broken on the site in Ohio in June of 1993. The actual museum site was dedicated on September 1st of 1995, but the first ceremony was held in 1986. And in that initial class of inductees is a veritable who's who of rock and roll. Elvis Presley, James Brown, Little Richard, Fats Domino, Ray Charles, Chuck Berry, Sam Cooke, the Everly Brothers, Buddy Holly, and Jerry Lee Lewis were all in that inaugural class of inductees in 1986. And I'd say that pretty much covers early rock and roll for you. You've got it all right there. How do you become eligible? Well, artists are eligible for nomination 25 years after their first commercial recording. And that's kind of where a lot of this controversy comes in. There have been many artists that have been eligible for quite some time that have been maybe nominated a few times and haven't gotten in or have not been nominated at all. You can literally do a whole show about artists that have not even been nominated that are probably well past the time that they should have gotten in. The ceremony will take place November 5th in Los Angeles, and there are 4 different categories that artists are placed in. There's the performer category, which is basically artists who have created music, originality, impact, influence has changed the course of rock and roll. There's the early influencer award, and obviously they may not necessarily be rock and roll per se, but their performance and style have inspired rock and roll artists. There's the Ahmet Ertegun Award, which is for non-performing industry professionals, so like agents or lawyers or producers that have fostered and helped nurture the growth of the rock and roll genre. And then Musical Excellence Award, and that's for performers whose originality and influence have had a dramatic impact on music. So not necessarily for their career, but maybe there was something specific that was impactful. So for this year, I'm going to go through the performer category. I'll roll through everybody, and then we'll just highlight a few of these artists. In the performer category, finally, after many years, Pat Benatar and Neil Giraldo are getting in. Duran Duran, Eminem, Eurythmics, Dolly Parton in the performer category, and she had declined her nomination and said that she didn't feel like she belonged in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Despite that, well, she got nominated and she got voted in anyway. Lionel Richie and Carly Simon. For the Musical Excellence Award, you've got Judas Priest, Jimmy Jam, and Terry Lewis. Under the Early Influence Award is Harry Belafonte and Elizabeth Cotten. Let me take a moment and just talk about Elizabeth Cotten first. Just something brief about her. She was born Elizabeth Nevels in 1893, and she's a folk singer that played guitar, but she played it very unique for 2 reasons. One, she played it left-handed, so she flipped the guitar over, Normally what happens with left-handed guitar players like Paul McCartney or Jimi Hendrix, they'll get a right-handed guitar but then restring it so those thicker strings are at the top as they would be if you played it right-handed. Well, Elizabeth Cotten played the guitar left-handed. Not only did she turn the guitar upside down, but she didn't restring it. So what that meant is those higher-pitched, higher-sounding strings were at the top of the neck, normally where the lower bass strings would be, which totally changed the way someone would play guitar and how they would interpret music, and her finger-picking style really reflected that. I'm going to put a link to one of her videos in the show notes, and you really need to take a look at Elizabeth Cotten and what a special folk artist she was and a special way she had of playing guitar. The Ahmet Ertegun Award, again, that's for non-performers, is Alan Grubman, Jimmy Iovine, and Sylvia Robinson. So rolling back, Pat Benatar, Neil Giraldo, like I said, a long time coming. 4 Grammy Awards, 15 top 40 hits. She was one of the preeminent rock female vocal voices of the 70s and of the 80s. She was just everywhere. She's got a massive fan base and still performs to this day. So glad to see her get in. As with Duran Duran, part of that 80s British new wave second invasion with songs like Rio, Hungry Like the Wolf, The Reflex, another 80s staple band that really kind of still performs to this day. They've sold over 100 million records worldwide with 21 top 40 singles. Absolutely amazing. A real special treat for Duran Duran is that the original guitarist, Andy Taylor, is scheduled at this point to join them on stage to perform. So that will be something magical for Duran Duran fans. Keeping with the British invasion, that second 80s British invasion, the Eurythmics. Annie Lennox and Dave Stewart are going to be inducted. They were formed in 1981, most notably known for their hit single, Sweet Dreams Are Made of This. They also had a song called Missionary Man. A lot of great electronic music that was coming from them and really groundbreaking at the time. So great to see Eurythmics getting some recognition. Moving forward, some of the other notable artists, obviously Eminem. We can't not talk about Eminem. 220 million records sold worldwide, 10 number one albums, 15 Grammy Awards, known as one of the godfathers of rap music. Really, in the early 2000s, Eminem was everywhere. 90s as well. Obviously, you couldn't get away from him. And he, you say, well, he's a rap artist. What's he doing in the Rock Hall of Fame? It's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is more evolving into a music Hall of Fame, and maybe they just need to make the change just in the title to make this okay, or so people will understand. A lot, like I said, Dolly Parton is in there as well. So you've got a well-renowned country artist alongside a rap artist. And then just finally, I just want to touch on Carly Simon as well. 13 top 40 hits, 2 Grammy Awards, part of the singer-songwriter movement in the late 60s, early 70s. Most famously known as being also married to James Taylor in the 70s. They had a tumultuous relationship, but they made a lot of great music together. But it's great to see that she's getting recognition on her own. In the Musical Excellence Award, heavy metal pioneers Judas Priest, finally also another group that really wasn't getting the recognition or the understanding of what their contribution was to hard rock / heavy metal. So it's great to see Rob Halford and company finally getting in there and representing heavy metal on a bigger scale. Like I said, early influence award, Harry Belafonte, but Elizabeth Cotten, really, you want to check out some of her stuff. Like I said, I'll link it in the show notes. We'll have a nice video of some stuff that she's done. And then the Ahmet Ertegun Award, most notably Jimmy Iovine, who is a really prolific rock and roll producer. He produced the likes of Bruce Springsteen, Tom Petty, Stevie Nicks, U2, Lady Gaga. So yeah, not necessarily a musician, but had a great and definitive impact on rock music as being one of the guys behind the boards, helping those artists shape and define what their sound would be. So there you have it. There's the 2022 graduating class for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Drop us a note online. Let us know what artists that you think should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that have not gotten there yet. You can do that by finding us at 3324 Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. Drop us a line. Let us know what you think. And that'll do it for this week's Quick Hit. This has been Dean. We'll talk to you real soon.
You've been listening to the 3324 Podcast with Dean Legiro and Eric Kuber. You can find us on your favorite podcast provider, so please like, subscribe, and rate to become a part of the 3324 family. Your feedback is important, so make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at 3324 Podcast and on Twitter at 3324P to join the conversation.